Friends, I love helping families find their dream home in Hampton Roads, but honestly, I love helping them avoid a nightmare even more. Because here is the truth that nobody talks about enough. A lot of buyers who move to Hampton Roads end up moving again within 12 to 24 months. Yes, you heard me. And it's not because they didn't like the area or they didn't want to be too close to the beach. It's because they bought the wrong house in the wrong location for the wrong reasons. And by the time they figure that out, they are stuck. They are taking a loss or they are miserable and just counting down the days until they can get out of here. Hey friends, I'm Sonali Hutson with Hutson Realty Group, and I have been selling real estate in Virginia for the past 10 years. I specialize in helping people move with clarity, protect their finances, and choose a home that actually fits their life and their values. And y'all, I have seen the patterns, okay? I know exactly why buyers end up regretting their decisions. So today, I am walking you through every single one of them so that you do not become part of the statistics, okay? By the end of this video, you are going to know the 6 biggest mistakes that cause buyers to move again in 12 to 24 months. The cross-tunnel commute trap, flood zone blindness, the insurance cost shock, the military noise surprise, the school zone mismatch, and the lifestyle friction that just slowly grinds you down over time until you cannot take it anymore. Now, if you've not watched the first part of this video series, go ahead and watch that first. I'm gonna break down the full geography of Hampton Roads, the 7 cities, the water divide, and how this region actually works. Now, that context is going to make everything I'm about to tell you make a lot more sense. So if you did not watch it, go ahead and watch it. I'm linking it right here for you to see it. All right, friends, let's go ahead and get into it. Now, the biggest mistake, the one that ruins more Hampton Roads relocations than anything else, and that is the cross-tunnel commute trap, okay? Now, here's how it happens. You look at a map, you see that Hampton to Norfolk is maybe 10 miles. You think, that's a 15-minute drive. I can handle that. And friends, you are wrong by about 2 hours. Now, I wish I was exaggerating. The Hampton Roads Bridge Tunnel carries over 100,000 vehicles a day. It was designed for 77,000. So every single morning and every single evening, you're dealing with a bottleneck that has no real alternate route. Now, during rush hour, and we're talking 6 to 9 in the morning and 4 to 6, sometimes later in the evening, you're looking at a 30 to 45-minute delay on a normal day. Guys, if there is an accident, you need to add another hour. If it's raining, listen, Virginians do not know how to drive in the rain, okay? Forget about it. You are basically going to be in a parking lot, and you need to be prepared for this. Now, let me tell you about one of my clients. She bought a house in Hampton because it was beautiful and it fit her budget perfectly, but she worked in Norfolk. Now, Google Maps told her the commute was gonna be 25 minutes, and she did not want to listen to me because she had Googled it. I said, okay, girl. She thought she could handle it. The reality was 45 minutes on a perfect day, an hour and 15 minutes on most days, and 1.5 to 3 hours getting home during rush hour. She did that commute for 2 years because she didn't want to prove me right. And by the end of it, she told me that she would rather live in a smaller house on the right side of the water rather than spending all of her time sitting in traffic going nowhere. So we sold her house and we moved her closer to her job. Now, she didn't lose any money because we had to sell it fast, but we were strategic, okay? Now, y'all, I don't want that for you. So here's the rule that every single local in the Hampton Roads area tends to live by. You want to pick a side, you want to stay on it. You want to live and work on the same side of the water if you don't like being in traffic, okay? If you're military and you're stationed at Naval Station Norfolk, don't buy in Hampton because the houses might be a little cheaper. I promise you're going to regret it. Now, if you work at Newport News Shipyard, don't rent a house in Virginia Beach because you want to be on the ocean front. The drive will break you down over time, my friends. Take my word for it, okay? Now, I don't want this to sound all like doom and gloom, okay? There is some good news here. The Hampton Roads Bridge Tunnel expansion is the largest highway construction project in Virginia's history, and it is underway. $3.9 billion. They're adding twin 2-lane tunnels to double the capacity. The target completion is going to be late 2027, so the calculation for cross-water living is going to change. But until that project is done, pick a side and stay on it, okay? Friends, mistake number 2 is what I call flood zone blindness. And this one is sneaky because it sometimes catches people completely off guard. Hampton Roads is sinking and the water is rising. That's not me being dramatic, friends. That is measured, documented data. And buyers who do not understand flood risk before they close on a home, they end up with a very expensive surprise after they move in. Now, here's where people go wrong. They assume that the FEMA high-risk flood zones are the only areas that they need to worry about. They are not, because nuisance flooding, tidal flooding, and storm surge all happen well outside the official FEMA zones. I've had clients get trapped in their own neighborhood because the only road out was underwater from a king tide. I've seen people miss work because their street flooded overnight and they could not get their car through the street. And this was not in a FEMA high-risk zone, okay? According to data from First Street, over 17% of properties in the Hampton Roads area have flood risk right now. And that number is projected to grow over the next 30 years. You are potentially buying into a worsening situation if you don't do your homework, okay? Now, here's the financial piece that really matters. Virginia flood insurance costs are rising fast. What cost $800 a couple of years ago could run you a couple $1,000s or more now if you did not budget for that. It changes everything. It changes your monthly mortgage payment. It changes your buying power. It changes your quality of life. So before you fall in love with any address, check the First Street flood risk score for that specific property. Visit the neighborhood during a rainstorm or at high tide if you can. Walk the street, look at the drainage, ask a neighbor if they've ever had water in their street, and budget for flood insurance even if you are not required to carry it. Because I would much rather talk you out of a flood-prone house now than watch you drain your savings on insurance premiums that you did not even see coming, okay? A flood policy can be a game changer for a new home. Now, mistake number 3 is the insurance cost shock, and it's bigger than just flooding. Homeowners insurance has gone up all over the country, but in coastal areas like Hampton Roads, the increases are sharper. And here's something that stops buyers in their cold. Some insurance companies are pulling out of coastal markets entirely. That means you might have fewer options for insurance, you might have higher prices, and in some cases, you genuinely cannot get coverage at an affordable rate. See, I've had clients who got pre-approved for their mortgage, found a house that they loved, went under contract, and then could not get homeowners insurance at a price that they actually were able to live with. Some of them wanted to walk away from the home, but thankfully, I have great insurance companies that work with us at Hutson Realty Group, and I'd love to connect you with one. Now, that stress compounds over time, okay? It can make people resent a house that they should have loved because all of the ancillary costs, okay? So before you fall in love with the house, call an insurance agent. I'm happy to connect you. Get a real quote for that specific address. Make sure that you can afford the total cost of ownership, not just what the mortgage calculator is going to tell you. Because the house that looks affordable on paper can turn into a financial burden very quickly when you add flood insurance, wind and hail coverage, and HOA fees on top of your mortgage, okay? All right, now mistake number 4 is the jet noise. Surprise! And listen, I personally do not mind the jet noise. To me, as I've said before, it is a sound of freedom. But I know that's not how everybody feels, and honestly, that's completely okay. Hampton Roads is home to Naval Station Norfolk, the largest naval base in the entire world, okay? And Oceana, the East Coast's largest master jet base. We have F-18 Super Hornets and F-35 Lightnings training here on a continuous basis. And if you are buying near Oceana, near Langley, or near the Fentress Outlying Airfield, you're going to sign an AICUZ acknowledgement. See, that stands for Air Installation Compatible Use Zone, which is a written acknowledgement that you understand that you are in an aircraft noise and crash zone. But here's the problem, my friends. Most buyers, they sign that form because it is a required document and they don't actually read it. Now, not my clients, because my clients are very well read, but a lot of buyers, they don't understand what it means until they are living in the house and hating the jet noise. Aircraft at takeoff is around 130 decibels. Your house structure absorbs maybe 20 to 30 decibels with windows closed. You're still hearing the jet noise at night, during dinner, during your Zoom calls. And here's something that most people don't realize. Night flights are a standard part of pilot training because pilots have to land on aircraft carriers in the dark. Hello? Summer training happens late in the evening because the sun sets late. So you are hearing jets at 9, 10, even 11 o'clock at night, okay? So I always tell my buyers, if you are touring homes near a base, go back at night, not on a weekend, on a weeknight in the summer. Stand outside, close your eyes, and listen for the sound of freedom. Now, if that noise is going to bother you, do not buy in AICUZ zone, because once you close, you cannot undo it, okay? But if you're like me and that sound does not faze you, you're gonna be just fine. You'll get used to it over time, okay? I promise, you definitely will, okay? Now, mistake number 5 is the school zone mismatch. And this one is so easy to avoid if you just do a little extra homework up front, okay? Now, a lot of people move to certain neighborhoods for the schools. School quality in Hampton Roads varies significantly, not just by city, but by neighborhood within the same city. York County is ranked number 1 in the region and in the top 4% of school districts in the entire country. Virginia Beach and Chesapeake both rank in the top 5 in the state. But here's the thing, just because you are buying in Virginia Beach or in Chesapeake doesn't mean that your specific address is zoned for a top rated school, okay? Listen, I have seen buyers fall in love with the house, close on it, and then discover that their street is zoned for a completely different school than the one that they researched that they wanted their children to be in, okay? Sometimes just because of where a zoning line runs through the neighborhood, it can change. Now, that's a painful thing to find out after you already own the house, okay? Now, it matters beyond just your kids' education. School zoning affects resale value. It affects how quickly your home is gonna sell. It affects what kind of buyers will even consider buying your home. The wrong school zone in the wrong area can cost you real money when it's time for you to move on. So before you make an offer on any property, go to the school district website, type in the exact address, see which school is actually zoned for that address, check the school ratings, drive to the school if you can, talk to parents in the neighborhood. Do not assume, my friends, verify, because this is one of the easiest mistakes to avoid if you just take 30 minutes to check before you commit to the house. Okay, friends, mistake number 6 is what I call lifestyle friction. This one is the slow burn. It is the mistake you do not even realize you made until you've been living there for 6 months and you are exhausted all the time and you cannot figure out why. I don't know if any of you guys can relate to that, but here's what that actually looks like in the real world. See, somebody might buy a house in Suffolk because it's affordable and spacious and they love the idea of having land and room to breathe. And it's a great house. They love the house. They love it. But then they realize their commute to Virginia Beach is 45 minutes without traffic and over an hour with traffic. They are 30 minutes from their gym, 30 minutes from their church. Their kids' activities are a drive in every direction. They are spending 2 hours a day just running errands or sitting in traffic. The house was never the problem. The location was. Guys, this happened to my sister when she moved to Suffolk. Or let's think about it like this. What if you buy a home in a quiet neighborhood because you want peace and privacy, and you got the peace and privacy, but you also got isolation, and 6 months in, the quiet you thought you wanted felt less like peace and more like being cut off from everything that you actually enjoy. See, this kind of friction compounds over time, and I've seen buyers have instant regrets after they've gotten that. The daily commute stress, the lack of access to the lifestyle that you pictured, the difficulty reselling when the time comes, and within 12 to 24 months, guys, you're looking to move all over again. So before you make an offer on a home, ask yourself honestly, am I close to work? Am I close to the lifestyle that I actually want? Are there good schools nearby? Will I be able to resell this house without taking a loss? And if the honest answer to any of those questions are no, guys, I want you to slow down. Let's keep looking, okay? Because the right house in the wrong location, it's still the wrong house. Okay, friends, we've talked a lot today, so let me tie all of this together. Hampton Roads is not one market. It is 7 cities separated by water, connected by tunnels, shaped by massive military presence, threatened by flooding, and divided by school quality and lifestyle. The buyers who move to Hampton Roads and thrive are the ones who do the work up front. They pick the right side of the water. They check the flood maps. They budget for for real insurance costs. They visit their neighborhood at night to check for noise. They verify the school zoning. They choose location over house features. See, the buyers who move here and regret it are the ones who rush into a decision, who focus only on the house, but there's so many other things that you need to think about. Don't assume that everything is going to work out fine without doing your due diligence. Listen, I get it. Relocation is stressful. You are juggling a million things. You just want to find a house and get settled. But this is one of the biggest financial decisions you'll ever make. And I would rather slow you down for 2 weeks now than watch you lose money trying to undo a decision 12 months from now, my friends. See, that is what good stewardship looks like. And that is how I show up every single day for my client. If you are relocating to Hampton Roads or the greater Richmond area and you want help navigating all of these things, my free Virginia relocation guide breaks down every neighborhood by school district, flood risk, commute times, and average home prices. The link is right below this video, so grab it before you start touring home. And if you want to talk through your specific situation, all you have to do is get in touch. You can text me at 757-837-0096. I'm here to help you get it right the first time. You don't have to figure this out alone, okay? I got your back, okay? Friends, thank you so much for watching my channel. I appreciate your support more than you know. Be blessed, and I'll see you in the next video. God bless you.